Right here are the answers for Thursday's starters, last ones for the week. So we've got the graph shows the proportional relationship between the number of counselors Danielle hires, that's your X, and the maximum number of children who can attend the camp, Y. So what does the X-axis represent? So our X, and we look, and that is representing the counselors. And then what does the y-axis represent? The y-axis is here, and that's representing the maximum number of children. What is the constant of the proportionality for the graph, the unit rate? So we are looking, and the easiest way to do that is to figure out for one counselor, what is the maximum number of children that they can have? So if you follow this one up, it does happen to cross right at a y value, and the maximum number of children is 3. So we have 3 children for one counselor. So what is the equation for this graph in the y equals kx form? Remember that this k just stands for your constant of proportionality, or the unit rate. So we just said that the unit rate was 3 children for one counselor. So I've got y is equal to, if my constant is 3, I put 3x. So that means if I want to find the number of counselors, the number of children, I have to multiply 3 times the counselors. What does the 0.39 represent on this graph? Circle the right answer. Remember that when you have the 0.39, the ordered pair, the first number is always going to be your x value, and the second number is always going to be your y value. So our x is the counselors. So this means 3 counselors. And the y is the children. So that's going to equal 9 children. So then we look at our thing, and it says, by law, at most, 9 children can attend the camp if Danielle hires 3 counselors. So that's 3 counselors, 9 children. That's the correct answer. We're just going to look at this one, but it says, by law, at most 3 children can attend the camp if Danielle has 9 counselors. Well, that's not what this says. It says 3 counselors and 9 children. So this is not right. Then we've got our percent proportion again. Remember that the percent proportion is just your part over your whole, and that's going to equal your percent over 100. So we've got, in this case, we're going to put our 100. We're going to look for a percent sign, and I don't see one. What I do see is that it says what percent, which means that's the thing I don't know. So my percent is the thing I'm trying to find. Then I look for the out of. So this says of 60. That means out of 60. 60 then is my whole thing. And 156 is my part. And if you'll look again, we've got a bigger part than we have a whole. So our percent is going to be more than 100, because if my part is bigger than the whole, then my percent's going to be bigger than my 100. So we do 156 times 100 is 15,600. And then 60 times x is 60x. Those two things have to be equal when I cross multiply. So I'm looking for the number that I have to multiply 60 by to get 1,600. I'm sorry, 15,600. So I'm going to divide by 60 on both sides. So I've got 15,600 divided by 60, and that equals 260. And then 60 divided by 60 leaves me with just an x, so that's my 1x that's here. So we've got 260 over 100, which means that my percent is 260%. And again, that's bigger than 100 because 156 is bigger than 60. So I have more than 100%. All right, the next one's a word problem, and this is a little bit different, but it says, of the 60 students in 7th grade, 70% own a pet. How many 7th graders own a pet? So we're still doing the part over the whole. So we're putting our proportion. We're putting that 100 down here. We're going to look in that word problem for a percent sign. We've got 70%. That is going over the 100. And then it says of the 60 students. So that means there are 60 students that are in 7th grade. That's the whole thing. And we're looking for the part that have a pet. We're cross multiplying. 100 times x is 100x. 60 times 70 is 4,200. Those two things have to be equal. So I'm looking for 100 times some number to give me 4,200. If you don't know what that is, you can set up your equation. We're going to split it. We're going to divide by 100 because we want that x to be just 1x, not 100 x's. 100 divided by 100 is just 1x. And 4,200 divided by 100 is 42. That means that there are 42 7th graders that have a pet. Make sure that you check all of your answers and that you turn in your starters. Take a picture. If you can't upload a picture, make sure that if you're coming in person, that you bring your starters to school with you on Monday or on Wednesday, depending on whether you're A day or B day. If you're remote, I'm going to need you to take a picture of your 3 starters for the week and turn them in. Have a great week.